the read file and the write file function works perfectly. And the reason for that, making sure that the read file and the write file function work perfectly, is that the read file function and the write file function should be called by any other function, like search and show all, right? When we decided to use a search, right? When we decided to use our search, we just had our read file function. When we have show all, we just call our read file function. It's the same function, and all it's focused on is getting the data from the file loaded safely into the struct, loaded correctly into the struct. Okay. In terms of the write file function, we use the write file function when we use the add member functionality, but we also want to be able to edit and delete our data from the file, right? And the reason that I focused on doing the search function first, the reason that I focused on doing the search function first is that the search function, right? So if we have search remember, right? We have Chelsea. No, we have no Chelsea inside our database. Who we have inside? Okay, we have let's search for Jamie. Jamie. All right, Jamie. We want to make sure that that search is working, because our edit and delete will also utilize the functionality of search. Excuse 1 minute, please. Yes. So, all right. So basically, how we're going to use the search functionality is from our menu, right? From our menu, we want to be able to make so this would have been like add, this is search, this is show all right? From the search functionality, we really and truly should be able to perform the option of editing or deleting somebody based upon our values returned, right? Edit, delete. So what we could do is that we could plan how we want this to happen. Okay? The thing is, if I just wanted to search and search alone just to see a result, then maybe I could call my search function with a specific parameter and it would not give me the option to edit and delete. But if I call my edit or delete function, right? My edit or delete function, really and truly what happens is that this function, the first thing that it will call would be the search function. And if the search function, if we pass a specific parameter to the search function, right, that gives us the option to then ask, based on based on the results returned from our search, do you want to edit and delete? Do you understand what I'm saying here? So essentially, by selecting edit and delete, you're actually calling the function search, right? By selecting edit and delete, you're actually calling the function search. So you could actually choose, right? And this is going to take place by a little with a little quick edit, okay? So based upon the value of search, so I could put a parameter inside of here, int, and let's search accept an integer, okay? And so search will accept an integer. So I'm saying now search int opt option, right? And when I call search to just search alone, I put 0, right? When I call search alone, I put 0. But let's say I wanted to be able to edit somebody. How do I choose who I'm going to edit? How do I choose who I'm going to edit? So let's say I run this program here, right? And I say show all members of the club, right? This is all members. And I say, oops, I realized that I spelled Tina Timmy's name wrong, right? I spelled Tina Timmy's name wrong. And I want to edit Timmy's information. So when I go into edit, how do I get the information, or how do I get the record that I want to edit? I have to search for it, not so? Yeah? Alicia, what was your suggestion?
No, sir, I was gonna say search for it.
Exactly. So in this instance, however, I want to search for a member, and then should I get, based upon my results, I could get an additional functionality. So when I call edit, right? When I call the function edit, let's say I have the function edit here, void edit, right? And notice that I pass a 0 into search here. We're going to come to this, right? Passing the value of 0 into search makes it so that I don't get asked to edit my search results. Okay, so this is just to be able to what you call this thing. This is just to be able to get the value and see the result, and say, okay, yeah, this is that person's information. But the option to edit was option 1, option 3. So I declare my edit function. Inside here, I remove this and I call my edit function. And down here, I can define my edit function, void edit. Okay, void edit. And so this is my edit function. And we established that the first thing that you want to do with your edit function, is to perform a search. So you could say search, right, search 1. And I pass the value of 1 to this function so that I can get a result from the search function, and it will show the edit menu, right? I will show the edit menu or something. So basically what I'm saying is that I kind of using and I'm going to change my search to be able to return something now. Okay, so in my search function, if I have my search function, the way I'm thinking it through, search, if I pass a value of 1, right? So this is the passed value. not 1, sorry, but 0, into my search function. So search it. But if I pass 0 into this int function here, right, what should happen? I shouldn't get any menu. It should just simply ask me, right? So in the case of 0, right, it should ask for name, right, show results, and return -1. Okay? So now this will have to be an int search int because it has a return value here. But if I pass a value of, let's say, 1 to my search function, right? If I pass a value of 1 to my search function, 1 should allow me to do the same things that all of this here, the ask for name and the show results. But after we do that, what do I want to do? It should return a specific array index based on search results. So I want the index of where that position is. So if it is that in my array, my search array, right? I have Hannah here, I have Tina here, right? I have Chelsea here, Jasmine here, all right? I have Chanel here, all right? Dot, dot, dot. Let's say, for instance, I was searching for Tina. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I match Tina? Yes, I match Tina here, all right? So what should my program do? My program should return the value of 1 because this is the location that I found Tina in. Okay, what if I have more than one Tina? Let's say I had a Tina Timmy and I had Tina Smith, okay, at position 5. How do I know who to return now? Well, remember my search functionality actually, and let's see the original search how it works, and let's add an additional Tina into this file here. Okay, so we have Tina Ali, and we have Tina Ali's doppelganger who you know who is exactly like her except that her last name is James. All right. Oh, we had 2 Tinas. Anyway, we had 3 Tinas now. Tina Timmy, Tina Ali, Tina James. All right. So we already tested this, I suppose. All right. So let's go back to our code blocks. And let's search remember and we say Tina. We have 3 Tinas in return. But what can you tell me about these 3 Tinas? These 3 Tinas are in 3 separate positions in the array. So what should my program do at this point? If I want to edit any one of these Tinas, right? If I want to edit any of these Tinas, what should come up for me? And how do I differentiate between all of these Tinas?
So you can search for the last name as well.
Yeah, you can search for the last name, but let's say somebody comes in and is like, I'm looking for at somebody named Tina. That's all I have about them when I make the initial search. Or how
So
about if
allow them to choose which one?
exactly we allow them to choose which one? Let's say, for instance, we had another James, right? So even if we had first name or last name, we have two people with the same first name and two people with the same last name. So either way, we would still have to ask them to choose, right? So if we had James, okay. Hey, how come James only coming up? Did I not change this thing to James just now? Oh, I have two S's. I want to know if my program not working. Right. So I have two James. But how do I know? Right? We ask them to choose. But what can I use? What is associated with these names that return here that would allow me to know which one is the one I want to move forward with? Where are these stored? Anybody? Where's this information stored? What did I go through to get this information?
Any list, sir?
The what?
List, the list.
The list. And how do I differentiate between different positions in the list?
So, and each name would have like a particular position. So I guess you could like bring up the position
Exactly.
for the name.
Exactly. So let's just say for the sake of going through the search that I could add something additional here. Right? Position, percent sign D. Right? Position, percent sign D. And what I'm actually putting out there is the actual position J. So when I say search for a member and I search for James, right? How come I get 0 twice here? Right, list that position G, position percent sign D. Right, J. I should get position 0 for, hold on, for Cherry James and position 0, 1, 2 for Tina James, right? Because that's where the J is being associated with. Let me see, why am I getting this? Okay, so let me just figure out what's happening here. All right, this is first name, last name. I list that position J, that birthday, birth month, birth year. Just putting this down on the next line for readability's sake.
So you don't need to put like radio, like position at something G.
Oh, no. I put it outside of the
Oh,
the bracket.
okay.
That's why it didn't come up. Interesting that didn't throw an error. Right, so for James, right, look at where Sherry James is and look at where Tina James is. So what can I return from my search function, right? What can I return from my search function that would allow me to know specifically which array location I want to edit? I could return this actual index position here, not so? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when I call search to just see if I could find some information, some specific information from the just to list out anybody with that search criteria, right? I'm not too keen about whatever values return. I can return a value of -1. -1 is not a usable array value. But if I call for edit and I say search 1, right? what I want to do is I want to get int LOC is equal to search1, which means that the value that is being returned from the search function, which now I have to go and edit my search function to say that it returns a value, right? So int, my search function should return an integer value, right? I could change this to be int, and I can say, okay, right? If found is equal to 0, right? I could print that no member with that name was found in the database. I want to remove this get char from here and put it here so that it pauses. And then I return a value of -1. If also it was just a search for searching's sake, if the value that came into OPT was 0, right? I could say, or, so if found was equal to 0, meaning that a value was not found, or OPT is equal to 0, then I also want to return -1 because that means I'm calling the search function from here, which is I don't need an index returned to be able to go on and edit. But if I'm calling it from the edit to the delete function, it means that I want a value to return, right? So what does that mean? It means that from the positions that I want, sorry, the positions that were shown to me in this list, right? You know, where the name was found, position whatever, okay? Position %sign D. Excuse me. All right. I know I have myself sneezing on a video. Nice. Okay. Position %sign D. I want to return that specific whichever position. So I'm saying here else. All right. I'm saying here else. Else, what do I want to do? Else, I want to select. I want to select from the list of results which person I want to edit. But I'm thinking to myself, and follow me here because I like to do things thoroughly, right? I like to do things thoroughly. Yes, Joshua?
So I think I'm kind of confused what you're trying to do now, sir. Is that you're trying to say, like, if you don't have a person in the suits, you're just not seeing it up, or you're trying to like add that person you're not seeing, or edit that person or something?
All right. There are two instances where we care about the search results to move forward, the location of the people, right? So say, for instance, I search for a value from here, right? Just to annotate, let's assume that this is stuff inside of the struct array. This would be in position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, right? Let's say, for instance, I search for Tina. If I search for Tina, I'll get this, and this return as my locations in my answers, right? These are the three values that would be returned. If I was searching from just the search function in the main menu, I don't care about the location of these people. Right? If I was searching just for right, yeah. If I excuse a second, So yes, sorry about that. If I was searching for just out of the menu, I don't care about the location of the results. I just want to see if these people exist in my data set. However, if I'm searching to edit, I care about this information that is being returned here. Why? Because one of these people is what I want to be able to edit, right? So I need to be able to get either this index location, or this index location returned to me. Now, what I am about to do is I am about to return what I would do is that when I do my search, I will store these values. I will store these values in an array so that I can validate that somebody can pick out of these values returned. And I will actually do something called a bit of abstraction, which is I will print these results as result 1, result 2, and result 3. But the actual values associated with these results will be 1, 2, and 5, which are the index locations, which I will then pass, right, which I would then store in an array and make the user choose one of, and then pass that one location for whichever one of the persons they want to the edit function, and that is the specific entry that they will edit. Do you all understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, sir.
Anybody is not on board with where we're at?
So why when like you get the names of the persons, why can't just stick it at that position in the array and like ask if you want to like edit or just move on? And it's like if you sort of just edit that person one time.
That is in a way what we are doing. But if I am calling from search, all I'm doing is returning search results and going back to the main menu. If I am searching from edit, then I am displaying these values and asking the user to further on to say, okay, which of these search results did you want to edit?
Okay.
Understood?
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. So let me clear my screen. And so, as I was saying, the first thing that I want to do is I want to actually store now the index locations. I don't want to have this being shown, this position B, right? That's not very user friendly in terms of something to be seen. However, I can go int u is equal to 1, right? Save. I could go %b, and this is u, right? I'm going to take off my j at the back here, so that when my user, right, u++, when my user sees my list, when I search, oh, sorry, I searched for Tima, right? I have this 1, 2, 3. And I could also now validate, because I could say, okay, do you want, select the number of the person that you want to find, okay? I'll have to change this logic here, because in this case, OPT is 0. All right, if found is equal to 0 or OPT is equal to 0. So I have to change my logic down here. So I'll come back to that after, okay? I don't want to confuse things right now. All right, so far I have my search result, and I have Tina, oh sorry, search results. Oh, I've lost my getcha. So search results, you know, and I have this list. Yeah, go ahead. Right. So I have this here. The next step is to, in the event that this is a search that I wanted more than this for, right? I wanted to pass on, like, let's say, for instance, I was searching edit. This is where I'm searching from search. Now look, I'm searching from edit, right? So please enter a first name or last name to search for. If I say Tina here, what I should get after this edit here is to say, okay, which one of these results do you want to, which one of these do you want to
select.
yeah, to select. Okay. So, right. So what I want to do is I want to store the search result indices also inside of another array, right? So I could say int results. Let's say let's assume that we would never have more than 25 search results, right? So what I want to do is I want to say, okay, results at position u minus 1 is equal to j. What happened here? Now I have inside of my function, inside of my results, right, where I say, okay, edit, right, and I search for Tina, what is going on inside of there is that now I have an invisible array, right, that is saying, okay, at position 0, this person's index was 2. At position 1, this person's index was 3. At position 2, this person's index was 5. And I could use that index because it's not something that the user is seeing. The user, we're keeping it simple for the user. So the user is seeing 1, 2, or 3. So what I'm going to get afterwards is that I'm going to say which one of these would you like to edit? Understood? And I'm actually getting it from that invisible array that I have as the programmer in the back there that holds that value. Okay? So I have my results function here, right? So I could go and I could say if found is equal to 0, right? Yeah, this is actually good, right? So I could leave that as it is, right? And I could also say if OPT is equal to 1, which means that I was coming from the edit or the delete function. If OPT is equal to 1, what do I want to do? I want to now further ask the user, so I could say printf, which one of these results would you like to use? Okay, so I'm asking the user, and if I'm asking them, of course, which one of these results would you like to use? I'm going to say, okay, well, it has to be a number between 1 and whatever u is. All right? So actually, I should start u at 0. And what I would do here is I will right? You could start at 0 because let me see, let me just make sure that, yes, I'm carrying you up in the event that you start at 0. Let me just validate there that I get what I want, right? No, I have to carry this up before this. So I'm putting U++ first. Okay. And the reason that U starts at 0 is that if I have no values found, then the size of my array is going to be 0, right? Which one of these results, if OPT is equal to 1 and, no, just, which one of these results would you like to use? Okay. So if found is equal to 0, I'll change that in a bit, right? So which one of these results would you like to use? And we want to make sure that the value that the user puts in, right? So we could name a variable ret_res for return result, okay? And we will ask the user to enter which one of these results we'd like to use. So scanf, $sign D, ret_res. We have to put the ampersand in front of it. And this is to take the user's input from whatever list of results, right? So this is the user's input from the list of results. But we have to validate that. We have to validate that. So if ret_res is less than 1, or ret_res is greater than the size of greater than or greater than the size of U, right? Greater than the size of U, what does that mean? It means that we had an invalid result, right? We could say printf, you have made an invalid selection. And what we'll do in this case is that we'll just simply return -1. So return a value that they can't use, right? Else, return ret result. So what did I do here? If the user has made an invalid selection from the results, return -1, right, with an error. Otherwise, return, and I've returned the wrong thing here. I want to return actually not ret result, but I actually want to return results at position ret results, right? Results at position ret result -1. Okay, so return the index position of the person you want to edit/delete. Okay, so return the index position of the person that you want to edit or delete. You all understand what I did here? Right? We have the when I search for the member and I say Tina, what is in ret result? Right? My array, which is results, has in position 0 because remember 1 and 2 that we have position 2, 3, and 5. Okay, so the index here is represented by ret underscore result minus 1. Okay, because ret result is going to be either 1, 2, or 3, because ret result has to line up with the variable u, which is displaying. So u displaying here. So you're asking the user to show what is in index position 1, 2, or 3, but this is actually in array position 0, 1, or 2, right? Because if I go back and I say print whatever j is, you will get whatever value is inside of this results array here. Does that make sense to you? I didn't hear what Josiah said.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it makes sense.
Right? So let's see what we can do with it. Right? And this is where we decide to return different values. So if we came from the search from the menu, it means that OPT would have been equal to 0, which means regardless of what we found, we don't care too much about whatever index value is returned, right? So if we found some results, right, OPT would have been equal to 0, and in this case, OPT is equal to 1. So else, if OPT is equal to 0, then we also return minus 1, because this means that if we came from the search menu, right, return an invalid or unuseful index, because we don't care about the index when we come in from the search. This is if we came from edit/delete value. Hold 1 second, please. Yes. So right. So we said if we came from the edit or delete value, that is where we care about a specific valid index being returned. But we still have to validate that out of the list of results that we got, right? Out of the list of results that we got, that we can have we don't get an invalid one, because if I say edit a member and I search for Tina, and then I say, okay, I want, which one of the results would you like to use? I'd like to edit Tina James, right? 2, that's valid. And that's supposed to happen because it takes me back to here and I have nothing returned. So I could say, okay, I could say printf, just as a validator here, you want to edit %s, %s, right? And that would be from list at position LOC dot first, comma, list at position LOC dot last. Okay, so let's see if it tells us we want to edit that specific person. So we say edit a member, please enter first name or last name to search for. Tina, we choose 2, Tina James. Oops, we have to put a catcher here to pause our output and make sure that we can validate this person. Right, so 3, right, Tina. 2, you want to edit Tina James. So we successfully searched for and passed Tina's information, location information, so that we can access it down here to be able to edit it. Right? But what about the case of where we select the wrong one? Right? So we say edit a member, we put Tina here, and let's say we put 8 here. There's no option 8. What happened? You've made an invalid selection, you want to edit, right? So let's not, we say you made an invalid selection, and then if we could say here, if LOC is unequal to -1. Yes, this is Sahara. Hold a second. All right, I want to give a 5-minute break here. Right? We want to give a 5-minute break here, and we will continue after. Right? If I just write in the last thing here. If the name was not found, or if an invalid selection was made from the list, we cannot do the search, the edit, sorry. Okay, so in the case of that, where let's say for instance as well, we say edit somebody, and then we say right, last name to search for Tom. No member with that name was found in the database, and we go back to our menu. All right, so I'm going to give me 5 to 10 minutes, and I will be back, take a little break, and then we will go and actually do the edit. Any questions before I go?
No, sir.
Okay, good. So I'm going on break.